Hi, I'm Dawn Montefusco, life coach for writers and creatives, and this is the Ultimate Writing Series, how to break through resistance, ignite your muse, and honor your soul's calling. And today we have one of my favorite guests, Janet Conner. Janet Conner is a prayer artist, deep soul explorer, and field guide in the mystic. She's written 7 books, including the bestseller, Writing Down Your Soul, and is the host of a radical new kind of podcast exploring the power of prayer beyond patriarchy, praying at the speed of love. Hi, Janet.
Oh, it's such a joy to talk to you. I was in one of these intensives once before. I love anything about writing, but writing that drops, right? Writing that's really about, why are you here? You're here to be a writer now. How are you going to get that to come through? And you're the one that draws us together and inspires us to have these conversations. So I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you.
You're so sweet. Give us the goods. Tell us what you're working on. What's some of the new projects? Let us know.
Well, everything has changed. I mean, everything has changed. And I think this is an important point for writers, because I, as a writer, once I realized I was a writer, and I wrote Writing Down Your Soul, not knowing it was the first of a whole series of books. And
wow.
So I got to tell all your viewers, don't do what I did, which was to name my website after the title of my first book, Writing Down.
Oh, good advice.
A surprise, it's not the only book. It's only the first. And so then I had to scramble when I finally heard what writers are supposed to do is have a website with your name. Now, if your name's Mary Smith, you got a problem. You got to be cute. But luckily, the universe held my name, Janet Conner, with both the correct spell. I mean, what are the chances?
What are the chances?
What are the chances? But the universe was going, any day now, honey, okay? You're not in charge. You are so not in charge. The great writer in the sky, for lack of a better word, is in charge. You are putting your hands in service, and you don't even know. I've seen this coming in a million years. But I'm awakened in the middle of the night, and I clearly hear in my left ear, prayer artist. Now, even in the middle of the night, my stomach went,
oh, wow, yeah.
Because whatever this was, and I never heard the term before, and then later I did go online and Google it, billions and billions of searches. How many are for the term prayer artist? Who is using that term?
No one. No one. It's crazy. I remember you mentioned that. I was like, whoa, that is an incredible.
That's impossible.
There are 7 billion people in the world.
and me, excuse me, you want me to be the prayer artist? But because I had been writing for a decade, because I was doing daily deep soul writing, because I do have an intimate relationship with the divine feminine, I really knew you can sit here and cry about it and you can be scared, but you know what, honey? You're a prayer artist and you're just going to do it. So I said that in my journal. First, I admitted all my fears.
Excellent.
I did, because my stomach was saying, and in sobbing, I said, I know this changes everything. I don't know how it changes everything, but I know it changes everything.
Wow.
But then the next thing I wrote was, but if you want me to be your prayer artist, I will be your prayer artist.
Wow.
Instantly, out of my hand came the first prayer as a prayer artist. And it was complete. All I had to do was type it up. I mean, I didn't even have to edit the thing. And I went, well, okay. And then they started to come and come. First thing in the morning, in the middle of the night. So I have to go to bed. I think I'm pretty sure I said this the last time, but this is Janet going to sleep.
It's always good as a reminder. Repetition is what we need. That is a reminder to everybody. Keep it handy.
I have to have paper everywhere. And you know what? You're a writer. You have to have paper everywhere.
Totally.
In your purse, like cute little thingy, in the side of the car, in the little paper. In the shower.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that is that, you know, I actually do know people who, you know, store things on their phone and such, but there's something different about it because you immediately get distracted from your text message, from this, from that. You'll lose it. It's like a second. God's giving you something. And I think it's really important to have a pen and paper handy.
All the time.
Yes.
And if for any reason you don't, the two occasions when you might not have paper would be, for most people, in the shower. Yeah. But there is paper you can get for the shower. On the toilet and in the car.
Yes.
And on the toilet, I think because you're available. I mean, really, what are you doing in there, right? I mean, my mother used to have magazines in the toilet and you could actually like read while you were, but most of us just go to the toilet, do our business and leave. Yeah. And so I think the great writer in the sky goes, woohoo, look, Dawn is available. And yeah, ideas come. So, okay, I'm not going to get up in the middle of that and go get paper, nor do I at the moment have a pad of paper in the toilet. But you can speak it out loud.
Yes, that's true.
Say the thoughts, say the words,
that's
say
true.
It 2 times. And then the second you're out of the bathroom, write it down, write it down. But it's got to be, I feel so strongly about the fact that it's written this way. Now, it doesn't mean you can't drop into the mystic on the computer. I'm far gone in the theta brainwave state in the mystic when I'm at the computer. But the spark point. Yes. In writing, because there is something that happens, and the brain scientists can kind of define it better than I can, but there is something neurological that happens as you are crossing the midline and your jaw can't cross the midline. And
let's talk about that for just a second, because you hit on a couple of things that are really amazing. One, you already have a system where you trust yourself, so that the resistance you've kind of shortened the distance between resistance, so that now you just go for it. The other thing that you're talking about is you introduced me to James Pennebaker. And you introduced me to why we write by hand and how expressive writing and putting it on paper actually allows us to process the work in a way that typing cannot. So I almost feel like computers and technology, though I love them, there's an element of resistance there that when you just trust with your hand and your writing, you can get past that internal dialogue, that resistance, that critic a little easier. Back when can you remember a time when you experienced some kind of a resistance to writing, and what was your first trick that you were like, I'm just going to keep doing this? Or what was the first feeling that you got?
Because my writing was born out of deep soul writing. Here's, everybody talks about writer's block and blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what that is, because I did not start out with the desire to have a book, write a book. So I've been thinking about this a lot, and the timing for our conversation couldn't be more perfect. Awesome. And it was inspired by, of all crazy things, I'm on YouTube just playing around late at night. After dinner, sometimes I'll just listen to some music. And I don't know why. I have found that my phone and YouTube are somehow in cahoots with the great writer in the sky. And not on my computer where I can choose, but on the phone. And it'll suddenly show me something I've never seen before.
Wow.
And when that happens, I go, yeah, well, okay. So I spent over an hour watching a round table of Alicia Keys, Justin Timberlake, Tori Amos, Pharrell Williams,
cool.
Sting, and I'm not remembering who was singing next to Sting. And so it's about music.
Yes.
And now, as I'm watching them, I don't intellectually know that they're teaching me what I need to know and what I'm here to share with you. But in deep soul writing, I connected the dots and went, whoa. So I want to show it to you.
Yeah.
Like you got to remember, I did teach school. See?
Yes, I love it.
But this is what I think they were talking about, because these are all super famous musicians, and we only know them for you flip on the radio and there's Justin Timberlake singing
Right.
some.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be like the top of the funnel. This is the final song or the final book. This is not your process. This is not what you're here to do. And if you, this is resistance.
Yes.
If you're going, oh my God, I have to write a good book. Oh my God, I have to write another.
Yes.
I have to write this. Oh my God, I have to have this. This is that thing you hear writers talk about the terror of the blank white page. Forget the blank white page. And the musicians are better at talking about this than writers are. They just said, I don't know what makes a hit. I don't know how. All I know is to be open. And it was Farrell who said the muse. I just need to be open to the muse. Now, I should have gotten this as a writer who cares about words. He said, you know, muse, musician, right? You see, you didn't, right? It's
What?
duh. In that moment, I understood why my best writing teachers are musicians.
Yes.
My
That's
best
crazy.
writing teachers are musicians. And the musician who has, now the universe is going to do this for you. It does it for everybody. It just really is a little bizarre and has a very strange sense of humor with me. That the musician who is my #1 teacher, and I had the courage to actually put it on my about page on my website, is Ed Sheeran. I know. So it was a complete accident, but this is Prayer Artist.
Right.
And this is just wipe the slate clean. You are writing something completely new, completely different. Just a couple months before the Prayer Artist thing came, I went on Facebook to drop into, I have private communities for all of my courses and groups. And so I get on to go say hello to everybody. And there's a video at the top, and it's with Andrea Bocelli.
Ooh.
And okay, his music is pretty, but there's a woman in my groups that's obsessed. I mean, obsessed. So I thought, oh, this is cute. I'll watch it and tag her. That was the extent of my intention. I now can look back, and I think the great writer in the sky, all my angels, my soul's divine purpose, they were all lining up and going, here she comes. So this video starts playing, and this funny looking kid with red hair and a baseball cap. I hate men in a baseball cap so much I can't stand it. I hate baseball caps. I can't stand them. So right away, my stomach's going, who the f are you? Get the f out of the way so we can hear Andrea Bocelli. But the kid in the baseball cap keeps singing. Okay, come on, hurry up, finish. So I can tell my friend about this video. I'm not going to tag her if, you know.
Right, totally.
Right, this is the extent of my awareness. So it's, I didn't even know who he was, which shows you how tuned into pop culture I am.
Yeah, him.
But anyway, he finishes singing his song, Perfect, and finally Andrea Bocelli is singing. So now I'm going to tag my friend. And as I'm putting down my eyes to tag my friend, you know how YouTube puts up the next thing and the next thing and the next thing? Well, suddenly it's, and now it's an Ed Sheeran song by himself. I still don't know who he is. And the song is Thinking Out Loud. The words, the lyrics, the music to Thinking Out Loud bypassed my forebrain, which was very judgmental. Pop music is stupid and sucks. But it just bypassed Janet, went right past the gatekeeper. And this is an important story for the creative process. If you are in a straight line looking at what I want to accomplish, this is what I want to write, it's never going to happen. Or produce something that nobody wants, no publisher wants to buy it, it's not new, it's not radical, it's not exciting, it's just the straight line. You're just going to be repeating what somebody else has already done.
Yes.
So thanks to Ed, I started to watch his, I've never watched, I haven't had pop music on in my car. I'm 71 years old. The last time I cared about pop music was like John Lennon and okay. I have no awareness of pop music, but Ed Sheeran wasn't gonna leave me alone. Not because it was Ed, but I think the great writer in the sky, I think my spirit, my soul, my guardian angels, call it whatever you want, knew that it was time for me to learn how to really write from the great artists on the planet, the musicians. So scroll ahead to last night, and I'm sitting there watching, for reasons known, I don't know, Farrell and Alicia Keys talk about the creative process. And then the next morning I drew a little picture for you.
Cool.
So here I'm perceiving the creative process. So this is going to be the final product. No musician, not a real one, goes into the studio knowing the song they're going to write.
No.
Leading up to this now, there is the creative process. Okay, my handwriting is going to be terrible.
That's okay.
And for that, just go ahead and watch Songwriter on YouTube. You want to see what the shared creative process is about? Watch how Ed Sheeran looks at Benny Blanco, Benny somebody. He's like the big deal producer for Conway West and all of the
wow. Yeah,
deals.
yeah.
It's a big deal. But I don't care about, it's not about Ed's music or about this wild. He's got black hair that sticks out to here. He's wild. He makes Ed Sheeran look like, a little pussycat. He's a wild man. Watch what goes on between the two of them. Watch how Benny looks at Ed, and what it's like. What you're watching is Ed is the falcon. Ed is the creator. Ed is in space. He's humming, and then watch Benny, who's got him on a tether.
Yeah.
And he can just, with a look in his eye, redirect Ed. I've watched that thing like 4 times because I know I'm being taught how to be a prayer artist.
Yes.
I'm being taught how to do my writing in partnership. But that's still, this is a big hunk of time, this whole creative process with your editor, with your first readers, with whatever. But this is what it's all about. So here is you being completely open, completely,
wow,
and you have to have a mystical writing practice.
Excellent.
That's deep soul writing, and I'll show you my journal and how I do it.
I love that you call it a mystical writing practice, because I believe all creativity is channeled and is a mystical experience, and that's where we get stuck. Is we somehow think we're going to think about it in this way, and it has to happen in this way.
Then your attention is up here.
Right. Exactly.
And you're not creating something new and magnificent.
Right.
But then you realize there's one more piece. And once again, I'm so grateful to Crazy Ed Sheeran. Okay, here's my process. I am open, I'm available. I have my journal on my lap every day without fail, non-negotiable. But then there has to be the spark. What is that odd? So it's Farrell saying muse in music. It's Ed's line in Thinking Out Loud. People fall in love in mysterious ways.
Right.
Okay, now think about that as a writer. People fall in love with writing. People get an idea in very mysterious ways.
Yes.
Right?
You always hear about it. You hear people say, I don't know where that came from. Very common.
Right. Well, and if you have a daily mystical writing practice, now when an idea comes past you, the mistake we make is we let it go. And
my gosh, yes.
Just let it go. I don't know what that was. It would have been so easy to say, Ed Sheeran is a stupid pop musician. I mean, I mentioned it to my son, who's 30, and he said, Mom, are you listening to Taylor Swift too? I mean, he was appalled, right? And I said, well, actually, yes. And Beyonce, you want to get inspired? You just go listen to Beyonce, but it's not in any way, shape, or form the way you expect. So now what comes in here, and you couldn't control this under any circumstances, this is the great writer in the sky, or the seed idea, and you can't plan it. You might not even recognize it in the moment that it happens, but it will reach you if you're open. If your ears are open, your eyes are open, your heart is open. If you are simply willing to say, well, shit, I have no idea what that's all about, but if you sent it to me, then I'm going to pay attention. So something happens, And I think for a lot of writers, the mistake is we stay in our own silo, our own window,
We
only
close.
learning from other
Yeah.
writers. Now learn from nature, right? Now learn from shamanic prayer practices. Oh, Nellie, learn from Ho'oponopono, the great Hawaiian shaman.
Love it.
Learn from musicians. Learn from dance. Get your ass out of the chair and go to yoga and start moving. And things will happen that you can't plan, don't expect, but it's a seed.
I've got to say this because this is so beautifully synchronistic. It's blowing my mind. So my boyfriend's a musician and he plays, well, hold on. He plays guitar and he's a bit of a snob in a good way. I love him so much. He loves like old bluegrass, the Grateful Dead, old country, that kind of thing. And he's young. He's actually younger than me. And, but I just recently started to accidentally listen to some pop music. And I was like, have you listened to like Justin Timberlake and like the words? And he goes, oh, yeah. No. And so we have a deal. And the deal is like when we're driving on trips, he gets to play 2 songs and I get to play 2 songs and we're not allowed to judge and we get to listen. Well, sure enough, he started to go, you know, that's actually pretty profound. And I was like, it's not just profound, it's opening you up in different areas in different ways. So
and it gives you a new rhythm.
Yes.
See, I have always said about writing, and I began to perceive it first about reading. When somebody says, why do you like a book? Why do you not like a book? The first thing out of my mouth, like in our little, my little book group that I've been in for 25 years, it'll be, I can't get into the writer's rhythm. Or I just feel like I'm falling into a river and I'm being carried away. It's the rhythm. And when I help people with writing, I teach them to do what I do, say it all out loud. Everything you write, say it out loud, say it out loud, say it out loud. And then I can hear what's missing in the rhythm.
Yes.
I am scrolling quickly. I do have a few of these prayers to give you a hysterical example of how this inspiration can come.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, now I should be like embarrassed to admit this.
Don't be embarrassed. Yeah, not on my show. There's no such thing.
I wrote this not knowing. It was after it was typed up. Well, I shouldn't say I wrote it. I received it. And I think it was days later, saying it out loud, that I went, shit, that's Beyonce. This was inspired by, now here I am writing mystical prayer. All right, see if now you'd have to know these songs. Okay, here we go, all night. On the breath of the beloved come love songs, all day, all night, caressing the world. Love songs. But we don't hear them. Like pop licks, they grab our bodies and we move. Like ode to joy, they lift our spirits and we soar. Like Irish pipes, they squeeze our hearts and we weep. But we don't hear them. Every star, every curl of ocean, a love song. Every fern, every cloud, every spider web, a love song. The rain sputtering, the storm clouds forming, the volcano erupting, love songs. The sun arriving, the sun departing, the moon smiling all night, love songs. The cicadas in Oaxaca pray for rain all night, a cacophony of legs, and the rain comes. I sigh for you, and you show your face, your face, your face in everything. Your face in what frightens me, your face in what feeds me, your face in my face in the mirror, whether I look up or not. Love songs. Your breath in my breath, your heart in my heart, your love in all I love, whether I recognize you or not. We are one love. We sing one song, one love song, all night, all night, all night, though I may not hear it. Your love song is all of life. My love song is this life, singing in beauty, singing in pain, singing in joy, singing on my knees. One love, one song, our song, all night.
Ah.
Now, go listen to a like terrifyingly sexy song called Drunk in Love.
Okay.
I couldn't connect the dots, like, but somehow her repeating phrase,
yes,
and the rhythm, even though this doesn't sound like her rhythm at all,
doesn't matter.
the point is it's got rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Rhythm. So then later, I have to keep notes of the date I wrote it, and then I go, realize later, it was inspired by Beyonce's Drunk in Love.
Oh, that's fantastic.
All night. But I didn't, you can't sit down and say, okay, I'm going to write a love song to the divine feminine, and I want it to be based on Beyonce's Drunk. I mean, you couldn't.
Right. No. So here, I want you to tell my audience very clearly here, because I have maybe not a ton of them, but I'd say like I get emails or consults, or even some of my clients who will start off by saying things like, well, I will write when I feel inspired and it will just come out of me. And I'm like, wait, no, it doesn't work that way. That you have to sit, the muse will meet you. And when you say a mystical writing practice, when I can get people to write even 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, eventually it goes longer, but when they show up every day, tell us about your experience, even with working with your clients, why that's so important in terms of igniting that muse.
Well, it's called a practice.
Yes. Thank you.
And I have no patience for people that say, I wait to be inspired. Musicians pick up their instrument every day.
Excellent.
Composers are at their whatever every day.
Here's my instrument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dancers they never take a day off.
Excellent.
Right? So now I know how crazy I sound. But here comes Sharon again. I have a closets full of journals back there. I've never thrown a journal out. So I have 22 years of journals in there. And I've had all kinds, leather journals, cheap journals, blah, blah, blah. So one day, but although I didn't understand that he was teaching me, I got tired of watching his videos and I started just watching his interviews.
Excellent.
Yeah, watch musicians' interviews. Watch their videos. Okay, that's fun.
I love this.
Okay, so I'm watching him being interviewed by a BBC reporter, and the BBC reporter says, is it true that you give away guitars when you're on tour? And he says, yes, but he said, any young person that comes up to me and they want to be a musician, blah, 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 blah. He said, I give them a guitar. I travel with hundreds of guitars with the intention of giving them away. But first, he gets out a black Sharpie and he writes on the guitar, play this every.
Oh, wow.
The next morning, in my non-negotiable deep soul writing practice, I bring this to Sophia. So my mystical writing practice, my mystical life practice is in conversation with a particular face of the divine. And it has a name. Give it a name. For me, it's beloved vibration of Sophia, exclamation point.
Wow.
Oh yeah, she's very fussy. Has to have her exclamation point. It's your mood. The minute you go beloved vibration of Sophia, exclamation point, you're like, oh. So I'm telling her about this kid that gives away these guitars. And I went, wait a second. Wait. So I had a plain black. I'm really a big fan of these plain black.
Yes.
I got out a pink pen and I wrote.
Oh, wow.
this
Wow.
every day on it. And then I have my little sacred geometry symbols and the date.
Yes, that's great.
So it took me 3, 4, 5 days to realize what this really says. I thought, like Ed saying to a musician, play this guitar every day, was telling the kid to play the instrument of the guitar. One morning in Deep Soul Writing, I realized what I've really written here, and I just sat there sobbing. Oh. What this really says is I am saying to Sophia, play this instrument called Janet every day.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing.
And you know what? She does. So I now am on my 45th journal like this. And I changed the symbology, but I never changed this. Play this every day. And so I do. And I will show you, this is today. I show up every single day, and the first thing I do is I write the date, and I do the numerology, the numeric vibration of the day.
Yeah.
And I have this little triangle reminding me to say my solar vow, my lunar vow, and my personal vow every single day. Now they're very short. It doesn't take me that long. But then, of course, I'm writing beloved vibration of Sophia.
Exclamation point.
It sets. First of all, you show up. Non-negotiable.
That's it.
It's non-negotiable. If you are, could you be Justin Timberlake if you didn't?
No way.
Practice and sing and play with music every single day. One of the people in that round table was Tori Amos. And Tori Amos stayed silent for most of it. You know, she's waiting. Finally, she says something, and about how the producers really pushed back against her. She couldn't get anybody to produce her first album, which is called Little Earthquakes. Justin Timberlake, who we think of as kind of, he's a big deal, right?
Yeah.
He almost gets out of his chair and he goes, that CD, that music changed my life. I listened to it every single day. And of course, okay, one musician inspires another musician, but what elements of Tori's words and music and what gave him the confidence? What was moving through to make him him? And writers, we have a tendency to think, well, I'm sitting alone in my room, I have to do this by myself. And oh, the world is feeding you everywhere. Item in your house, every song on the radio. I can just sit outside. I try to do my journaling outside as much as I possibly can because a grasshopper will cross in front of me and I'll realize it's a message. I'll be writing something, and at that precise moment, an osprey will be directly.
Yes, the message is what's happening. Changing your environment is so important because God can't, really speak to you if you just stay still in one little spot, right? There's got to be some movement around. I have a question for some writers. They get very stuck on, how they're going to tell their story. They've got a great outline. They understand that they're writing it. These are women who are writing these incredible stories about their lives, and they pretty much know what they're doing. And they have their moments, and they're going. And then all of a sudden, it's like, I feel like it'll be like, I'm not really sure how I'm going to say this one thing. Whoa, that's my phone. Properly. And I'm like, well, why are you trying to say it properly?
Yeah, because that's doing this again. Now you're up here. Now you're stuck up here. The editing, that'll come. Don't worry about it. I had a conversation once with my publisher when my book came back for editing, and it was covered in red marks, and I went, oh, no, I took it like, you can't write for shit, Janet. And I said to my editor, I really need to learn grammar, don't I? Now listen to what she said. She said, no, you write the book. We'll do the copy editing. We'll put it in front of an editor. Don't you dare go get lost on commas and semicolons and dashes and punctuation. You write the book that wants to be written.
Excellent.
So what I would say to anybody that's, first of all, I've drawn that little picture and say, get out of the top of the pyramid. As long as you're, because now you're writing out of your forebrain. Now you're trying to plan and think and this is the last step, the very last step. Instead, here's what I do. I show up and have a conversation with beloved vibration of Sophia. So let's just say I'm your client and I'm stuck on writing about a very difficult scene with my sister while my mother was dying, blah, 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 whatever it is. Mm-hmm. The person I have the conversation with is beloved vibration of Sophia.
Right.
And I'd be going over what happened, how I felt, and I would suddenly be connecting dots. I would suddenly be having insight.
Exactly.
The little pieces, there would be a phrase that comes flying off the page, and I go, oh, 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 oh. And then I can come up here, and now I can start to put these threads. When I'm actually writing something, I have my journal open, and so I have to show this to your writer friends because this will help. So I should get out this is a brand new journal. Let me get out an older one so you can see. Okay, so here's one that's finished. It went from February to May.
Excellent.
Play this every day. All right, now here's what I write my prayers on in the first couple of pages. Then, and I have to number the pages because it's a blank journal.
Yeah.
Sort of I'm blessing it. So I write my prayers and then I skip 2 pieces of paper and start 1, 2, 3. I only number the right-hand side. Now I have these 2 empty pages and this becomes the table of contents.
That's fantastic.
So when something comes through and I go, whoa, Nellie, I got to remember that. Now, how the hell are you going to find it, right? So I go back here and it'll say, oh, the concert, because I know this is wild. I'm a writer, but I have been invited to do the first ever prayer artist concert. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, that doesn't happen. I'm doing it in June. So something came through on page 6 for the concert. And so now I can go, now that I'm actually writing it, I go, oh,
excellent.
So you have your table of contents. And this reminds, oh, this is about this prayer intensive. Oh, this is about this. Oh, it makes it easy to find again.
I love it.
And your life going, I know there's something in here.
I love it. I don't have it in front of me, but there's something called the bullet journal. And it's basically a journal with page numbers and it has a blank table of contents in the front of it. But you don't have to buy the bullet journal. You can do it just like, I try to tell people, I'm like, you can do it with any journal.
But yeah. I'm a big fan of, this is 8.5 by 11. It's a sketchbook put out by Peter Popper Press.
I love those books. I've had those. Yes.
And it's nice paper because it actually
is
for artists.
Yes.
And the pen kind of makes a nice little sound. And
totally.
I buy these by the case.
Yes. No, you're amazing. Everything you have said has hit on every single point so perfectly with tangible, information, exercises, and you are so experienced in how many thousands of people you've helped that I love that you're like, listen, don't give me that. You're going to have to show up and play your instrument. If you want to be good at it, you have to play every day. But if you're called to write and be creative and you're not doing it,
get sick.
You get sick. It's true. Janet, it is always a phenomenal pleasure to have you on the show and to be a part of what you're doing. And everybody, please, please, please trust me. I know you already want to. You're probably already doing it. Go over to janetconner.com. On this page, you will see all that you need and reach out to her. Get on her July prayer artist
writing
class. Do it. Thank you so much. I just love you so much. Thank you. Okay, you have a great day.